Gemini. It is your May forecast, and I have a lot to talk about with Geminis. I have been dying to talk to Geminis. I don't know what to say. The beginning of the month is going to be fantastic, and the end of the month is going to be like, what the world? Like, what the hell are you doing, universe? Like, you're going to be just like, I'm not having this month. So let's start by talking about how May is going to play out for Gemini. Now, I'm sure that you know that Gemini is going to have a lot of energy coming home to it. Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to be moving in to Gemini on the 1st of this month. That is wonderful energy for you. Your ruler is coming home to you, which means you are going to have wonderful conversations with people. Maybe if you were a Gemini that normally, just likes to hold things in before, just so that the timing's right, maybe now you're ready to have some really beautiful conversations with people. Maybe you're ready to clear out some past issues that you have been having that are latent inside you that you try to hold in. But maybe you have the confidence right now to say, I really want to start to have those conversations with people. I know they're going to be successful. I feel confident that the direction of these conversations are going to go in the exact direction that I want them to go. You're also going to be very, very in tune with where you want to go in your life. You often feel very, very scattered. You feel you don't know which direction to go. There are so many directions to go for Geminis. Sometimes you don't always know what direction you need to go to progress because there's so many ways you could progress. I find that when Mercury comes into Gemini, this allows there to be some forward thinking in directions that can cause positive outcomes. That doesn't self-destruct the current progress that you've been trying to make in April. In fact, I think it's going to be very, very, very supportive for you. The beginning of this month is when I say take action. There's a lot of powerful energy in the very beginning of the month. Now, toward the in the last part of the month, all hell's going to break loose. So we want to, push forward with energy when energy is going forward, and then we want to just calm down and have a quiet period when energy moves backwards and it wants us to stop. I don't work against energy. I work with energy, and I encourage you to do as well. And this is a great time to research that. It's a really good time to prepare yourself for the end of the month. How do you work with energy? How do you manifest the most out of energy? How do you cope with oppositional energy? What is the best way to keep the light energy going through you? Research all that out. I encourage you, Gemini, this is the time for that because you're going to find some enlightenment during this time if you do it at the beginning of the month. Because the energy is so high in learning new things. Then on the 11th, we have Mars enters Gemini, and it's going to be there until June 24th. I say this, and it sounds wonderful as the planet of passion goes into Gemini, such a passionate and fun sign anyway, that it sounds like it would be a good placement, right? And ideally, at a high vibration, this energy is a very, very good placement. Here's where I struggle with when Mars and Gemini energy team up. Combined, these two can make you much more scattered than normal. So instead of having that clarity that you had, in the first couple days, the first week or so, you'll find that you just you can't get your brain to go in one direction. There are so many things to be passionate about. There are so many ideas out there. It's like you went to school and you're sitting in a class, and every day that you go into this class, there's just one more subject that seems much more interesting than the last subject. And you don't know how to focus all this energy. I have a Gemini rising, and I find that when Mars is activated in me, I find that I just have all these ideas that just go 100 miles an hour, but I don't know how to prioritize them. I don't know how to manifest any kind of result from them because I'm researching out one idea and then I'm researching out the next idea. And this idea sounded really good, so I need to go and research out that. And I'm doing so many different projects that I find that I'm just exhausted by any one. Like I almost, like Gemini energy, when it gets really stressed out, likes to avoid, or it becomes combative. That's the two energies. That's it. That's all you got with Gemini. They either just get so frustrated, they become just cranky and irritable, and they just become cantankerous, and they become naggy and bitey at people. They nitpick when they get this way. In Mars, this energy is going to be even more dominant for you because Mars is in there stirring up all kinds of crap for everybody. And so people are going to be, in general, just much more argumentative in their conversations. They're going to be much more debatable with you, and you're a debater. Geminis are debated. They will debate their opinion down to where they die. Now, they're mutable. And in good energy, in the higher vibration, you can absorb other people's ideas and you can enlighten them and fine-tune their ideas. And before you know it, you guys are feeding off each other, right? Because that's the great thing about a Gemini energy. It's a feeder sometimes, but in a negative energy. In the energy that I think that this as of the 11th, it's going to start to go into is the lower vibration. It's going to make you much more debatable. It's not going to make you encouraging of new ideas. It's going to say, look, you're an idiot, you know? That can never happen. I'm going to tell you why. I looked this up about a month ago, and you know what? And I have all these sources that say that can never happen. And, you know, you're just going to make the person feel like a moron because they're just so stupid and you're so smart, you know? How could they even suggest such a dumb thing to you because you are just so smart? That's the way you're going to maybe come off. Also, I see that you get fired up easier. There's something about this energy that says, you know what, you're not having any of the normal crap. You won't deal with it. It's going to be an either or energy. When the warrior planet gets activated, it can either fight for a good cause to the fullest intent, or it can just be argumentative. I mean, if you've ever known an Aries, and Mars is their ruler, you know that these people can just become argumentative for the sake of being argumentative. And you may just become argumentative for the sake of being argumentative because you're right and they're wrong and they're idiots. Right? Because we all know that Geminis can be that way. But in this energy, it's worse. It's worse. So here's the way that I want us to look at this. I want you to really think about this energy on a larger scale. We want to stay in the higher vibration of Gemini energy. Gemini energy has a duality in the energy. There is a high vibration to you. There is your one twin, and your other twin, there's a low vibration. That's the gloomy one. That's the dark one. That's the one that's a pessimist. That's the one that doesn't see the best case scenario and often has you fly off and go in different directions because you know what, the grass is always greener. But there's another twin in you that is very high vibrational, is very focused. You know what you want. You often achieve it. You are very social. You're very fun. I love those Geminis. I love them. I'm addicted to them. I am much like that. My rising is I'm just a fun, easy, chill person to be around. I don't really get caught up in all the drama. I don't believe in it. Like, I just want to make everybody happy. I can go with the flow. And that's the highest vibration that you can get in a Gemini energy. And I want you to stay there. Stay in that energy. Focus all month in that energy. I don't care what kind of opposition you have this month, which you will. You will have opposition, and it will seem like the universe is picking on you. It looks like it is. Like, honestly, there's so much stuff going on in Gemini. I'm like, what did Gemini do wrong in the world to have so much opposition right now? Like, it's insane. Then, on May 18th, Mercury goes retrograde in Gemini. Like, are you nuts? Like, really? So, communication is not going to be, it's just not going to be as effective. Now, you're going to want to fight. You're going to want to talk about all this stuff. You're going to get mad and you're going to want your voice to be heard. But you can't do this right now when Mercury is in retrograde. It's quiet time for you. It's time for you to reflect. It's time for you to research. It's time for you to work behind the scenes. And here's the interesting part. For a lot of you, this is leading up to your solar return. So for the first 4 to 6 weeks, during your solar return, right before your solar return, the energy passes through your 12th house. When energy passes through your 12th house, this is a house of psychological suffering. This is the house of unconscious thoughts. This is the house of karma. So for some of you, if you were like born on a cusp or just, toward the end of the month, you are going to be feeling this energy really, really, really predominantly. And the reason why I say this is because you went through your 12th house transit already, through your solar transit, or leading up to your solar transit. And so now you're going to be thinking about your year and manifesting the next solar year. I believe what happens when your solar returns, what's going on that day is going to be a huge reflection of what is going to go on in your life for the next year to come. Now, for those of you born from the 21st after, all hell is going to seriously just break loose. Like, all hell. And the reason I say this is because at the end of the month, there's just a lot of strong opposition in Gemini, all geared toward Gemini. And so if that's your solar return, if your solar return happened and all this opposition happened, that means that you are a butterfly. You're going to transform into a butterfly probably next year. Right now you're in a cocoon and you are going through some stormy weather in your cocoon and you're wondering if you're going to die in your cocoon. And if you make it through and have the sun hit your cocoon, you are going to manifest into a butterfly. And that's just the reality of what's going to happen this month. I don't care what anybody says. It's obvious to me. Like, for real. So, let's talk about this month. Let's get it started. On the 3rd, you're going to have a full moon in Scorpio. Now, you're not too deeply emotional. You're just not. You are a sensitive person. You are loving. But you're not, water energy drags you down. It really does. You don't like being around a bunch of drama and emotional waves. You like everything pretty much to stay either fun, a good time, or relaxed. Like, you like to go with the flow. You don't want to oppose water ever. You just don't. You don't want to go through the water energy, but you're going to be in the heart of it. And this is not a fun full moon. This moon is going to be opposed by Mercury, or Mercury is going to be opposing Saturn at the time of this full moon in Scorpio. Anytime there's a full moon in Scorpio, it's very, very dark, usually. It's latent. It brings up latent issues. For you, this is going to be in your 6th house. When something is in your 6th house, and especially for those that maybe either they're going to, be a Gemini next month, you're going through your 12th house solar return issue. So all the energy that leads up to your solar when you're going through your 12th house, you're thinking, you're going through the darkest parts of what happened in the year. You're going over it. You're sorry about things. Things happened to people that you loved, with your mental well-being, with your health, at your work. Like, a lot went down, this last year. You have a lot to go over, and you're sorry for a lot of things that you know that you did. You know it. All Geminis at this point, all the ones I've talked to, know things about them that they don't want to know. After the Pluto-Uranus squares, they became aware that they're part of their problem. It's not everybody else. They know they have issues regarding their duality and what that duality does to people in their lives, what it does to their own mental well-being, how they self-sabotage themselves, how they have codependent relationships on people, how they allow their mutable energy to literally leave them astray from what they originally want. They just flow along with people's ideas until they're so unhappy that they just up and leave these people, and these people are like, what just happened? You're evil. Like, how could you just leave me? You pretended to be in love with me for so long, and you never were. That's the kind of energy. I saw a lot of comments about this when all of the stuff was going down in March, in April. Well, not so much in April, the beginning part of April, like around the lunar eclipse that we had. But you guys knew you were the problem. You came to me and told me. I know that I'm a problem, that I have a problem focusing my Gemini energy. I know that I want a relationship, but I'm scared of it suffocating me and bogging me down and controlling my life. And so I suffer from the same types of issues that a lot of Geminis do, because Gemini rising, it's a powerful energy that flows through me. And I think that I'm going to go through much of what you're going through. I realize I'm part of my problem. So I'm not talking about Geminis and being mean about Geminis. It's me. That's part of me. That's who I am too. So this is going to be a highly psychological moon for you. And you don't like diving deep. You're not a deep person. So be careful of this full moon. Be careful where it takes you. I want you to stay in the higher vibration. Don't let it suck you down, because Scorpio energy is very, very intense. It's going to be a very, very intense full moon. Then on the 7th, Venus moves into Cancer. And I love this placement for Venus. It's going to make you sensitive. It's going to make you feel like, I need home and family around me. Maybe you are going to want to reconnect with your mother. You're going to want to think about life in a more simpler fashion. When energy was about nurturing, when it was about through partnerships, when it was about through home, you're gonna start to go back and look at all of this stuff, and you're gonna think, I had something wonderful with this person, or when I lived at home, this is when life was wonderful for me, or when you had one person in your life that made sense to you, and now life doesn't make any sense, and maybe you're going to start dredging back into your past. Now, understand, as of the 3rd of May, energy starts to slow down in Gemini, and that is because, and of course, you're in your 12th house at the same time, and your 6th house, mental health and well-being. When Mercury starts to retrograde, there's energy that builds up to it. So you're going to start to see that you're not going to want to talk as much. You've got a lot to think about. You're going to start to see that maybe, it's not as happy as you want it to be. You're going to start to want to fine tune things. Even as early as May 3rd, you are. And then on May 14th and 15th, I want to talk about that day. I can't obviously go over every day of the month. That's what my personal daily horoscopes are going to be, and energy readings for all of you that are interested in that. But the 14th and the 15th are volatile days. And I do want to talk about these with you because Mars is in Gemini and it's going to make you want to become volatile. You are sensitive right now. You are going through a lot with all this energy in your 12th house. And then you just went through your 6th house. I'm sensing this is going to be a very, very psychological month for you. You are going to feel things and you are going to feel them deep. And that is not a favorite for a Gemini. They don't work in their highest vibration well. You may find that you succumb to depression. You may find that you start to regress in some poor coping skills to just try to give yourself an immediate fix of happiness. Don't do these things. Stay in the high vibration. Work through it with me. Work through it with everybody. We're all going through the same energy if we've got any Gemini in us. So you're not alone in this. You can get through it. And through the daily readings, I will help you. I will help you just manifest the highest vibration you can out of each one of these days that are coming, okay? So the 14th and the 15th, Mars in Gemini flat opposes Saturn. So there's an issue in your past where you may have had passionate interactions with somebody, where words may have been left unsaid, but there's something that resonates with you that hurts you still deeply about those words that were not said. But it's past related. There is maybe somebody that you need to have a conversation with. There is an issue that you have repressed inside of you that you know deep down needs to be resolved. You're going to want to do that. You're going to want to. It's going to become almost a need to. You know you need to. Here's what I say. Don't act on any of these things. Write. Journal right now. Writing is great to do when the energy starts to slow down and starts to go into Mercury in retrograde. Writing is the best thing that you can do. Okay? So just write all this stuff down. It is not the time to communicate. Energy is slowing down in communication. It's the time to move forward. Okay? It's the time to move forward with internal processes, with manifesting positive energy within inside yourself. This is about being selfish. It's about working on you. You don't need to solve the problems with others yet. That's for another month. That's when Venus starts to go retrograde the following month. Okay, well, in June. Okay? And then on the 17th, you have a new moon in Taurus. Now, normally this is a great moon. Normally, I say this is a seed planting moon. There's a lot. This is an earthy moon. This is about fine taste. It's about all the wonderful things that Taurus has to do. But I have to say, it's not going to be a great moon. And I'm going to tell you why. There is a quincunx. There is a yod that is going to be on the new moon, which means a yod is a question. Now, you're good at puzzles. You're good at research. I think this is where a Gemini could maybe shine through this new moon. You might be one of the best people to work through this moon because you're so intellectual. You can see the puzzle pieces and you can put them together faster than most people. I do have to say that Gemini energy is not going to be at its prime right now, because it's the day before Mercury in retrograde. So come on, you might as well say it's in retrograde. But there's a yod. It's a question that only you can answer. It's about your personal journey. And this has been going on since April. All this energy has been going on since April in this yod. At the top of the yod, it's a TP, right? And at the top of the yod is Pluto in Capricorn. And then on the bottom of the TP, it goes like this. On the bottom of the TP is Jupiter in Leo and Mercury in Gemini. Now, Pluto is going to be quincunxing, which means completely freaking opposing Mercury and Jupiter. It's going to be working against benefic energies. And Pluto is a malefic energy, which means this good versus evil is going to be working against each other to try to figure out what's inside, what is the answer to that question. I like to look at a yard like a room. And inside the teepee is where the message is, but you got to decode the message once you get in there, but you've got to get in there first. That's the bottom of the teepee. That is the sextile. And this is harmonious energy between Jupiter and the Mercury and Gemini. This means these two are getting together trying to kick Pluto's butt to open the room, working behind the scenes. You will be working behind the scenes to try to figure out your sextile, to get in the room, to decode the message, to help you get through the whole end of the month, because this yod takes you through the entire end of the month. Okay, so you need to answer this question to successfully manifest the highest vibration toward the end of the month. Now, Mercury goes retrograde the very next day. Now, the thing about Mercury in retrograde that I don't like about this energy is Mars and the Sun are going to be opposing Saturn at the same time we have this retrograde. I like to look at retrograde to retrograde. I like to look at what happened during the last Mercury in retrograde for you. What were you thinking about at the time? What did you do around the retrograde? What manifested in your life? What people came back from your past? Who did you contact from your past? You need to look at all of that, because there's a key to be found. I think part of the key is to be found what happened in the last Mercury retrograde, because here's the thing. The yod is still going on this Mercury retrograde. So there's a message for you. Whatever happens, there's a big message for you that you need to figure out. And it's in opposition to your ego and to Mars, the planet of just doing and passion. There's no moving forward from now on. After this, the energy slows down, it almost halts, and it forces you to go into your deepest, darkest place and pull out what is going on internally. What is your latent issue? What do you self-sabotage yourself? I know many Geminis do. Many Geminis, when they are faced with opposition, ignore it, run away from it, have poor coping skills to deal with it, but they just don't want to deal with it. This is your month. There's a reason why all of this energy is asking you to pay attention to it. You're chosen. The spirits are looking at you saying, Geminis, I want the best for you, but you have some issues that you run away from. Come and take a look at them with me. Come sit down in my classroom. Saturn wants you to sit down in the classroom and say, okay, fine, what are the issues? I will try to pay attention, but you can't be too long-winded because I lose track of everything. Like I actually am starting to get really long-winded about this because I'm really freaking charged up about what goes on in freaking Gemini. After the 21st, all hell breaks loose. Right after the Mercury retrograde. Conversations halt. Communication devices are going to become ineffective if you start to try to communicate during this Mercury retrograde. It is a wonderful time for writing. It's a wonderful time for journaling. It's a wonderful time to look back at past issues and to journal them out and to sit down with them and say, okay, I know this happened on the last Mercury retrograde. These are my darkest, deepest issues because you're going through your 12th house. All of this is going through the 1st and the 12th house toward the end of the month. So what I want to say is this has something to do with how you build personal value. It is what you value in others. How you morally and ethically go about getting what you want. Gemini, let's get real. A lot of times you guys don't do the most morally and ethical things to get what you want because there's a duality in you. You can see both sides to every coin. So gray is the norm with you. The people who work in black and white, there's wrong and right. That's it. For you, there is no wrong and right. There is just opportunity all the time. Has that opportunity, have you went through your life in a selfish pursuit of opportunity without giving back to others? Is that what you've been doing? Like, that's an honest question that the universe has been asking you for a really long time, and you freaking know it. You know it as much as I am sitting here talking to you, and you can hate me, and you can leave 1,000 freaking bad messages all you want to on comments all over my freaking channel, but we both know, secretly, in your 12th house, you know I'm right. You know that there's some ethical issues that you have been having with yourself about how you progress and how you get what you want, about how you treat others, about what is it doing to your mental well-being? What is it taking from you? Are you solid in your life, or are you just getting by? Do you have any focus yet? I bet that there's a lot to think about before your solar return birthday. Absolutely. And the whole end of the month is about opposition. And if you want me to tell you, it's the yod is throughout the entire month. Sun, Mars, Venus, and the moon are all opposing each other throughout a lot of the end of the month. And Pisces and Neptune, it's about revealing a deep latent issue. It's about the fact that you like to paint a pretty picture to keep in a good mood, when you flat know that life isn't as good as you and rosy as you make it. Or maybe you make yourself rosy. Maybe you make yourself more important to others. Maybe you lie. Maybe you not intentionally lie. Gemini's intent is to make everybody feel good. They are people pleasers. They often say things to please people that are falsehoods, because it makes them feel good, and they just want to make everybody around them feel good because they want the energy to stay high all the time. I don't see Geminis as evil, malicious people that just have these ulterior motives all the time, and they're just players, and they're just they just don't have a freaking brain in their head, and they don't have any focus. Bull. I do not believe that about a Gemini. Well, for one, I have a Gemini rising, and I'm nothing like that. And I know a lot of Geminis that are solid people that provide for families and can focus. They just, at times, are self-indulgent. And there's a reality in that. But some of you Geminis, as I know this with everything in me, some of you are immature in your vibration. You have been doing this too long. You've been immature too long in your vibration, and you are working in the lower vibration of Gemini. And anytime that you work in the lower vibration of Gemini, it is, you are self-indulgent and you don't think of others. And when you are sitting in the house of karma, when all this energy is going through the house of karma, it's bringing up all the karma. It's bringing up all the past. Pluto is bringing up the worst parts of your past, making you face them. Saturn's making you sit down and holding you accountable. The planet of karma is in retrograde. And then Mercury, your ruler, who would normally be a wonderful thing to have in your sign, is being suppressed in retrograde. You need to think. You need to stop. Ponder. Right. Think about your life. Think about your direction on a realistic level. It is your month to figure out all this and to become something more, and to get that question, your yod, answered by internal work. I know you can do this. You're freaking intelligent, Geminis. You are. And I care very deeply about your success. And I hope that you manifest the most from this month. And if it is your solar return birthday, happy birthday. And if it's not, if you're just transitioning through your 12th house right now, if the energy is just transitioning through there, allow this internal work to happen. Don't fight it. You'll get the most out of it.